Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Bobby at Bobby's Hobbies, and we're here with the massive HO scale long version Pennsylvania Railroad tender. And I thought this might be a better match for the S-2 steam engine, since that's what it actually pulled. Also saves me from wrecking this beautiful tender on top that I can save for a different project. You have to be adaptable as you try to create and work on trains because sometimes you find that mistakes or your initial ideas, don't pan out. And, sometimes you could try to force it and end up just with even more junk. Now, some of the mistakes in here, if you see the red line, you say, why is it higher? Well, because I added a lip of metal because there was no edge and rim as there is on the prototype. So now it's about that same distance too tall. So looks a little bit beefier. You could see there's an edge here where it comes down now. I could always try to put a thin strip of plastic or metal on it to make it go around and match. So, that's an option. I realize that this tender is slightly, not a whole lot, but it's slightly too wide. I mean, one way to gauge how extra wide it is to put the front of the, what is this tender called? The Duluth, Misabi, and Iron Range tender. I forgot the type, but if we put the front on it just to see it fits in nicely, but it's a little bit too wide. So, I could deal with that, and I'm not using this part on here, but I'm just saying it's slightly too wide this way, maybe 1/16 of an inch or a little bit more. I could live with that. And height-wise, it's that difference, maybe 1/8 of an inch in the back. So it's a supercharged tender. Now this still has to have stuff cut off because, it only has to be something like that. It's got to be open. But the prototype is sealed over here with like an extra hole, so I got to work on that. But it's a nice overall design. And while I could change this to try to correct the dimensions, I already had hot glue gunned it, thinking, oh, I did a great job. And again, it's passable. Now, I was thinking I can do what I originally wanted, still have this powered, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this. It needs new side rods, and it doesn't need eccentrics because it's an S2. So I can work on that. If you've been watching the channel, you see I got the actual perfect spiral worm from Bowser that matches along with some of their last gears, so I've got extras. So that's great. So eventually I'll use this, but if my memory serves right, I have a Bowser replacement kit designed for a 484 style Bachmann, which had at the time in the 70s and 80s a very, unfortunately designed pancake motor with. It really wasn't the pancake motor that was the problem. It was kind of ingenious. The problem was that it had plastic gears and plastic axles, which would crack, and then the wheels would slip. And so I said, oh, I'm going to get this replacement kit. And I did replace it on Norfolk. I think it's a Norfolk Wet and Western. So if I could find that, I could borrow it, use that to power this temporarily, and put it back when I fix this. So I get some, fun stuff for the channel, get it moving. But I do want to make this a power tender. So originally I was going to use wheels like this, but these were wheels that I really enjoyed using on electrics. And just as a little bit of a sideshow, I'm working on another project which I stalled on a while back and gave it a rest. This has a motor right there, okay? And this is for the underside of a... I'm trying to remember what type of electric it was. Oh, wait a minute. I happen to have it. Let me see. Yeah, that's gonna... The rest of this is in a box, but this is a... I can't... It's like a Is it an EF2? Gee whiz, I can't remember what it is right now. But I wanted to power this New Haven. This is just a static model. So I got the rest of this in a box. And I was building this. So just to show you that this works. And this is a totally scratch-built mechanism. Totally scratch-built. Now let me just shut the power. I will just have a little fun here. Let me just put that down. Put this power clip on here. Okay, now I thought that these were misaligned, but it's not. It's just that the wheel gear is not glued on one of them. It just slipped off from the cyano acrylic, did not hold. So if I could get it just not to fall off and put on a little power. See, they'll turn, but one of the wheels is slipping, and it's only because the gear itself is, see that one on the left? The gear itself is moving. Now I know I'm going off topic here with this, but I'm just trying to show you that there's a lot you can do if I don't know why it's stalling like that though. What am I doing now? I'm trying to put it down somewhere so I can shut the power off. Okay, power off. Let me get this clip off before it breaks it, because you know I'm good at that. One of my superpowers is breaking the stuff I'm working on. Okay, so this is a fun thing. Now the problem is this motor gets hot as hell, so I think it's underpowered, but that's a project for another day. That's there now. Okay, so let me unplug this power pack because I keep leaving it on, and that's not a good thing. So I think that the best use for this is these. Let's see if I have any already open. This is a brass piece from Lima that goes, see, this one has it installed already. That enables it to pick up power. Then when you screw it in there, ta-da, you got a wire coming out, you got pickup. So this tender is going to be totally powered, but I have to put them on an opposite way, make sure that it's going to be driven the right direction. And why? Because you want to have two different wheels picking up power. And obviously I wouldn't be stuffing them in there with this cardboard. But let's see if I could be dexterous enough to shove them in there to give you a visual. All right, so this is going to go in there. Now you might say, oh, well, that tender's supposed to have 8 wheels. And I could say, you know what, you're right. It is supposed to have 8 wheels. Okay, but I can add a leading and trailing wheel. Okay, I can add a leading and a trailing wheel that just float along. This has got 4 wheels powered, and this has 4 wheels powered, and they kind of look the right size for tender wheels, you know. So now here's a smaller one. Again, this is not enough wheels, but again, just an easier visual since it's not in a bag. You know, and I don't want to waste too many motors in here, but you get the drift. And this is going to be a power tender to supplement this. And again, I'm going to use these 6-wheel drives. Let's see if I have any open, since if they're open, leave these protected. And I'll put it that way. This way you get a visual. Again, they got to be on different sides so that the pickup, see, this is the insulated wheel. See the plastic there? This is the non-insulated wheel. So it's picking up on this side, and it's picking up on the other side. And they're going to run, I had designed this, now I know where all the little metal pieces went. You can put a bolt in there, and this can pivot, which is copycatting the T1 arrangement. Okay, so when these are in, this tender, now these are too big only because of the wheels. But again, if you put them, use these for the moment, you know. Again, I don't like the wheel size. It's a little too big, but it's not a bad look either. But with the little wheels, it's going to be phenomenal. Oops. And again, it's going to be motorized, dual motorized. It's going to be a beast. Then, when that's ready, and this is pretty strong. You know, it's not incredibly strong, but it's strong enough. It's going to have some weight. And I went to, I don't know where I went. I think I went to AutoZone or someplace like that. And I got these non-lead, they're still freaking heavy,